The cryopod's failure alarm pierced through 500,000 years of silence. Emergency lighting bathed the dusty chamber in crimson as hydraulics hissed and metal groaned. Dr. Sarah Chen's body convulsed as ancient systems fought to restart her heart, her muscles seizing as nanite-enriched fluid drained from her lungs. She hit the floor hard, retching up cryogenic preservatives. The Martian facility's thin atmosphere made every breath a struggle. Through blurry eyes, she saw status lights flickering across the chamber's walls. Other pods, hundreds of them, all dark. All failed. She was alone. "Emergency restoration protocol complete," announced a synthetic voice, somehow both familiar and alien after 500,000 years of digital evolution. "Welcome back, Dr. Chen. I apologize for the rough awakening. Our primary systems are compromised." Sarah tried to speak, but her throat felt like she'd swallowed glass. She dragged herself to her feet, using the pod's frame for support. That's when she saw it through the chamber's reinforced windows. Earth, their beautiful blue marble, wrapped in a massive black sphere that seemed to devour all light. "What?" she managed to croak. "What happened?" The facility's AI manifested as a hologram, its form shifting like mercury. "The archivists came, Doctor. Humanity was deemed too unpredictable, too dangerous to participate in galactic society. They initiated what they called species containment protocols approximately 499,842 years ago." Sarah stumbled to the control center, her legs remembering how to walk with each step. Holographic displays sparkled to life, showing massive alien structures orbiting every planet in the solar system. Mechanical hives stripped resources from Mars's surface, while crystalline ships patrolled precise, mathematically perfect routes between worlds. "Why wake me now?" she asked, her voice stronger but still raw. The AI's form condensed into something almost human. "Because they're coming. First facility inspection in 100 years. I've managed to keep our systems hidden by playing dead, but they're getting closer. And there's something else you need to see." The holographic displays shifted, showing medical readings from Sarah's pod. Her DNA structure had changed during stasis, the experimental nanites in her system evolving alongside her. They had rebuilt her, molecule by molecule, into something more than human. "Your enhancement wasn't an accident," the AI explained. "You were part of Project Oracle, humanity's failsafe. While others fought or fled, you were preserved, enhanced, and hidden. The nanites were programmed to evolve, to prepare you for this moment." Sarah flexed her hand, watching with fascination as her skin shifted like liquid metal before settling back to its natural appearance. She could feel the facility's systems now, could interface with them directly through thought alone. Data flowed through her consciousness like a digital river. "They're entering orbit," the AI announced. "Archivist inspection vessel, carrying 3 examiners. Standard containment enforcement protocol." Through the facility sensors, Sarah watched the alien ship descend. It moved with unsettling precision, each action calculated to mathematical perfection. The vessel itself seemed to reject chaos, its surface absorbing radar and lidar scans like they were nothing. "Options?" Sarah asked, already accessing the facility's defensive systems. "We have approximately 20 minutes before they dock," the AI replied. "Running would confirm our active status. Fighting. Their technology is 500 millennia ahead of anything you knew, but there might be a third option." The AI showed her more data, intercepted communications about a human ghost ship that had been raiding archivist outposts. The ship matched the profile of the Prometheus, a secret colony vessel that escaped during humanity's last stand. It had been evading capture for centuries, using tactics that seemed impossible. "They're hunting it," Sarah realized, a plan forming in her enhanced mind. "Which means they're scared of it." She began accessing deeper systems, preparing for the confrontation to come. The nanites in her blood hummed with potential, ready to interface with any technology she touched. She could feel them changing her, adapting her for whatever challenges lay ahead. The archivists fear chaos. The AI observed. They fear what they cannot predict or control. And nothing in their perfectly ordered universe is more unpredictable than a human with nothing left to lose. Sarah watched the archivist ship lock onto the docking port, its movements precise and sterile. For the first time since awakening, she smiled. Then let's give them something to really be afraid of. The airlock began its opening sequence as Sarah melted into the shadows, her nanite-enhanced body adapting to match the facility's dark corners. 500,000 years ago, humanity had been caught off guard. But she was humanity's revenge, preserved and evolved, ready to show these cosmic librarians why chaos should never be contained. The game was about to begin. The archivist inspection team moved through the facility like geometric abstractions given form. Their environmental suits shifted and flowed, adapting to maintain optimal efficiency with each step. Sarah watched from within the facility's walls, her nanite-enhanced body allowing her to phase through solid matter as if it were mist. Containment Zone 47M appears dormant. The lead inspector announced, its voice a series of precise musical tones. Structural integrity at 94.3% of projected decay curve. No signs of active systems. Sarah smiled. The AI had done well, presenting the facility exactly as their mathematical models predicted it should appear after 500 millennia of abandonment. But she could sense the inspector's unease. Something in their movements suggested they weren't here for a routine check. Through her connection to the facility's systems, she intercepted their encrypted communications. The translation matrices the AI had prepared began decoding their quantum-encrypted language. Ghost ship spotted in Sector 9. One message read, multiple probability violations recorded. Containment protocols failing. Sarah accessed deeper archives, pulling data about this mysterious vessel. The Prometheus had been humanity's ultimate contingency plan. A colony ship carrying 50,000 survivors and the combined genetic legacy of Earth. But it was more than that. The ship had been designed to evolve, its systems incorporating experimental technology that could adapt and grow over time. The archivist's reports painted a fascinating picture. For centuries, they'd been chasing shadows. The ghost ship would appear near their outposts, its technology displaying capabilities that violated their understanding of physics. It could appear in multiple places simultaneously, predict their responses before they made them, and vanish without a trace. Quantum anomaly detected, one of the inspectors suddenly announced. Pattern matches ghost ship signature. Sarah froze. She hadn't done anything to trigger their sensors, unless she reached out with her enhanced senses, detecting a faint signal pulsing through the facility's quantum substrate. Someone was scanning them. The inspection team's suits bristled with scanning appendages, trying to locate the source of the anomaly. Sarah used their distraction to access their ship's systems. The nanites in her bloodstream resonated with their technology, giving her an intuitive understanding of its operation. What she found stunned her. The archivists weren't just hunting the Prometheus. They were terrified of it. Reports showed the ship had been systematically attacking containment facilities across the galaxy, but not to destroy them. It was gathering data, testing responses, learning their weaknesses. A new signal caught her attention. Hidden beneath the quantum static was a message, encoded in patterns that felt strangely familiar. Her nanites decoded it automatically. Children of Earth, the time of awakening approaches. The chains of order will break. Chaos will bloom. Are you ready? The message repeated in endless variations, each one slightly different, creating a cascade of quantum possibilities. Sarah realized with sudden clarity, this wasn't just a message. It was a key, designed to resonate with the nanite structures in her enhanced body. The inspection team's leader suddenly stiffened. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Probability matrix destabilizing. Emergency protocol. Sarah didn't let them finish. She reached out through the facility systems, using her newly awakened abilities to magnify the quantum cascade. Reality seemed to shiver around the inspectors as their perfectly ordered technology encountered something it couldn't categorize or control. Their suits malfunctioned first, probability fields collapsing as chaos infected their systems. The inspectors stumbled, experiencing true uncertainty perhaps for the first time in their existence. Sarah emerged from the wall, her body flickering through multiple quantum states. "Welcome to chaos," she said, watching their reaction with satisfaction. The lead inspector raised a weapon, but Sarah was already moving. Her enhanced body flowed around the energy blast like water, and she touched the inspector's suit. Nanites flowed from her fingers, corrupting its perfect symmetry with beautiful fractal patterns of disorder. Ghost ship signal confirmed. One inspector transmitted desperately. Human containment breach in progress. Request immediate. The message cut off as Sarah interfaced directly with their ship's quantum core. She could feel the Prometheus out there, its mysterious signal growing stronger. They were working in concert, she realized, creating a cascading breakdown in the Archivist's probability engines. As the inspection team's technology failed around them, Sarah accessed their navigation data. The containment sphere around Earth wasn't just a prison. It was part of a vast network spanning the galaxy. Billions of humans were trapped in similar containment zones, preserved like insects in amber. But now she had the key to finding them all. The ghost ship's signal had awakened something in her nanites, unlocking capabilities that had evolved over 500 millennia of hibernation. She wasn't just humanity's revenge. She was their key to freedom. The game had changed. The hunt was on. The captured Archivist ship hummed with quantum potential as Sarah interfaced with its systems. Her nanites had already begun reshaping its interior, introducing elements of chaos into its rigidly ordered structure. Beautiful fractal patterns spread across its walls like living art, each one representing a different probability state. Their entire civilization is built on predictability. The facilities I observed, its holographic form now integrated into the ship's systems. They've spent 500,000 years trying to eliminate uncertainty from the universe. Sarah nodded, absorbing data from the ship's archives. The Archivists had transformed the galaxy into a vast library, categorizing and containing anything they deemed too unpredictable. Humanity hadn't been their first victims, but they had been the most troublesome. "Show me their experiments," she commanded. Holographic displays materialized, revealing centuries of research. The Archivists had been obsessed with understanding human adaptability. They'd created vast containment zones, elaborate habitats where they could study humans under controlled conditions. But something had gone wrong. The contained populations began displaying unexpected mutations. Sarah read, her enhanced mind processing centuries of data in moments. Genetic drift exceeding predicted parameters. Cognitive evolution accelerating beyond model trajectories. She accessed deeper files, classified records that even most archivists couldn't access. What she found made her blood run cold. The containment spheres weren't just prisons, they were incubators. The archivists had been trying to harness human adaptability, to understand how they could break the seemingly rigid laws of physics through sheer force of will and creativity. A quantum alert pulsed through the ship's systems. More archivist vessels were approaching, drawn by the inspection team's final transmission. Sarah smiled, feeling her nanites respond to the challenge. She had already learned so much from the captured ship's technology. "Let's show them something really unpredictable," she told the eye. Sarah reached out through the ship's quantum fields, her consciousness expanding into probability space. The approaching archivist vessels registered as perfect geometric patterns in the quantum foam. Too perfect. She introduced a subtle flaw into their probability matrices, a spark of chaos in their ordered universe. The effect was immediate and beautiful. Quantum cascades rippled through their ships, creating patterns of impossible complexity. She could sense their confusion as their technology encountered something it couldn't categorize or control. Warning, one ship transmitted. Human quantum signature detected. Probability field integrity compromised. Implementing containment protocols. But their containment protocols were useless against her now. Sarah had become something new, a hybrid of human chaos and evolved technology. She danced through quantum states, appearing as system glitches and impossible readings on their sensors. The archivist ships tried to surround her position, their movements mathematically precise. Sarah let them come close, then triggered the virus she prepared. It wasn't a traditional computer virus. It was a quantum virus, designed to introduce true randomness into their deterministic systems. Chaos bloomed like quantum flowers across their probability fields. Ship after ship lost coherence as their perfect order shattered. Sarah could feel their crews panic, not just fear, but existential terror as they encountered genuine uncertainty for the first time in countless generations. Their society is already failing, the AI reported, analyzing the quantum data. They engineered out chaos and unpredictability so thoroughly that they can no longer adapt. Their technology requires absolute precision to function. Sarah accessed her captured ship's long-range sensors, scanning the galaxy. The containment sphere around Earth was just one node in a vast network. But now she could see something else. Quantum fluctuations in the network, subtle disruptions that shouldn't be possible. They're waking up, she realized. All those contained humans, evolving for 500,000 years. The nanites in their DNA are activating. A new signal caught her attention. The ghost ship again, but stronger now. She could almost make out its true nature through the quantum static. The Prometheus hadn't just escaped. It had transcended, becoming something that existed in multiple probability states simultaneously. We're not just fighting for revenge anymore, Sarah told the AI as she prepared to jump her ship into quantum space. We're fighting for the right to evolve, to change, to introduce beautiful chaos into their sterile universe. The archivist ships regrouped, their quantum fields stabilizing as they adapted to her attacks. But Sarah wasn't worried. She had learned their weakness. They could only adapt along predicted paths. Following predetermined patterns, they had forgotten how to truly evolve. The hunt was about to become a revolution. The ghost ship materialized in a cascade of quantum possibilities, each version slightly different, all existing simultaneously until they collapsed into a single breathtaking form. It was massive, easily dwarfing Sarah's captured archivist vessel, its hull flowing like liquid mercury as it adapted to the quantum fluctuations around it. Beautiful, isn't it? A voice echoed through her quantum link. 500,000 years of evolution, unbound by their rigid laws of physics. Sarah watched in awe as sections of the ship phased in and out of reality, its structure defying conventional geometry. This wasn't just advanced technology. It was something entirely new, a fusion of human creativity and unfettered technological evolution. I am Admiral James Chen, the voice continued. And yes, before you ask, your descendants kept the family name alive through the centuries. Welcome to the Prometheus, great-grandmother. The ship's quantum field enveloped Sarah's vessel, and suddenly she was inside their probability bubble. The interior of the Prometheus was even more incredible than its exterior. Spaces that folded into themselves, corridors that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, and, at its heart, a crew that had evolved far beyond traditional human limits. The Prometheans, as they called themselves, were a synthesis of organic and mechanical life. Their bodies shifted between forms as needed, consciousness flowing through quantum networks that linked them into a vast, ever-evolving collective. Yet beneath their transformed exteriors, Sarah could still see their humanity shining through. We've spent centuries preparing for this moment, Admiral Chen explained as he led her through the ship. His form was mostly humanoid, but occasionally rippled with quantum possibilities. While the archivists tried to perfect their static utopia, we embraced chaos, change, and evolution. Every generation brought new adaptations, new ways of thinking about reality itself. They reached the ship's central chamber, a vast space that seemed to contain infinite smaller spaces within it. Here, Sarah saw the true scope of their achievement. The Prometheans hadn't just survived. They had discovered how to manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe through sheer force of will and creativity. But we're not the only ones who evolved. Another Promethean added, her form a beautiful lattice of light and quantum probability. The humans in containment, they've been changing too. The nanites in their DNA, passed down through generations, have been preparing them for this moment. Sarah accessed the ship's quantum sensors, expanding her consciousness through their network. Across the galaxy, she could sense stirrings in the containment zones. Billions of humans, their DNA enhanced by 500,000 years of subtle evolution, were beginning to wake up to their true potential. The archivists thought they could study and control human adaptation, Admiral Chen said, his voice filled with pride. They never realized they were actually creating the perfect conditions for our evolution. Every constraint they placed on us became another challenge to overcome, another catalyst for change. Through the quantum network, Sarah witnessed the first awakenings. In containment zones across the galaxy, humans were discovering abilities that should have been impossible. They could manipulate probability fields, phase through solid matter, even alter local physical constants through focused thought. But that's not the most incredible part, the Admiral continued, leading her to a quantum display that showed the true nature of their plan. The nanites aren't just tools or weapons. They're a key to unlocking the quantum nature of consciousness itself. When billions of enhanced humans begin working in concert, they'll create a cascade effect that will fundamentally alter the fabric of reality. Sarah understood now why the archivists had been so afraid. Humanity hadn't just survived or evolved. They had become living proof that the universe wasn't meant to be ordered and unpredictable. Every quantum possibility they created, every impossible feat they achieved, was another crack in the archivists' perfectly regulated cosmos. The containment spheres are already beginning to fail, a Promethean scientist reported, her form shifting through spectrums of probability. The awakening is spreading faster than even we predicted. Humans in every sector are breaking free of their quantum constraints. Admiral Chen turned to Sarah, his expression both proud and determined. This is why we needed you, why you were preserved. You're not just a survivor or a weapon. You're a bridge between what humanity was and what we've become. The archivists will try to stop the awakening, to restore their precious order. Are you ready to show them why that's impossible? Sarah felt the quantum network humming through her enhanced body, connecting her to countless others like her. Across the galaxy, humanity was rising from its long sleep, ready to remind the universe why chaos and creativity could never truly be contained. I was born ready, she replied, letting her form shift through multiple probability states. Let's give them something really worth cataloging. The revolution was no longer coming. It was already here. The quantum network exploded with activity as billions of dormant nanites awakened simultaneously across the galaxy. Sarah stood in the Prometheus probability chamber, watching through countless quantum feeds as humanity's greatest sleeper agent protocol activated. 500,000 years ago, Admiral Chen explained, his form shifting through multiple possible versions of himself. Our ancestors knew they couldn't win a direct confrontation. So they created something the archivists would never expect, a weapon that would take 500,000 years to activate. Through the quantum feeds, Sarah witnessed the uprising unfold. In a containment zone near Alpha Centauri, an entire human population suddenly manifested probability manipulation abilities, their nanite-enhanced bodies phasing through containment fields as if they were mist. The archivist observers could only watch in horror as their carefully cataloged specimens transformed into something entirely new. They never understood what they were really containing. A Promethean scientist named Maya explained, her body a constellation of quantum possibilities. Every restriction they placed on us, every attempt to study our adaptation, only served to drive our evolution in new directions. Sarah accessed deeper feeds, witnessing similar scenes playing out across thousands of containment zones. Humans who had appeared docile for generations were revealing abilities that defy the archivists' understanding of physics. Some could manipulate probability fields directly, others could exist in multiple states simultaneously, and all of them were connected through the awakened nanite network. The nanites weren't just passed down through DNA. Maya continued, showing Sarah the intricate quantum patterns that connected all of humanity. They evolved alongside us, becoming part of our quantum consciousness. Each generation's experiences, their dreams of freedom, their creative solutions to constraints, all of it was recorded and preserved in the nanite network. In a research facility near Proxima Centauri, contained humans who had been subjects of archivist experiments for centuries, suddenly turned the tables on their observers. Their enhanced bodies could now interface directly with archivist technology, corrupting its perfect order with beautiful chaos. But the greatest change is happening at Earth, Admiral Chen said, directing Sarah's attention to their home world. The massive containment sphere that had imprisoned humanity's cradle for 500,000 years was beginning to show signs of stress. Quantum fractures appeared across its surface as billions of enhanced humans within began to wake up. Through the quantum network, Sarah could feel their collective consciousness emerging. Each individual awakening added new dimensions to their shared quantum state, creating possibilities that even the Prometheans hadn't predicted. The nanites weren't just tools or weapons, they had become a bridge between individual human consciousness and the quantum fabric of reality itself. They're trying to contain the awakening, a tactical officer reported, tracking archivist fleet movements. Massive ships were converging on containment zones across the galaxy, their probability engines working overtime to suppress the quantum chaos being generated by awakened humans. But their efforts were futile. The nanite network had evolved far beyond their ability to control or predict. Each attempt to suppress the awakening only created new quantum possibilities for humans to exploit. The very physics that the archivists had relied on for 500,000 years was being rewritten by billions of newly awakened minds. "We're detecting quantum entanglement on a galactic scale," Maya announced, her excitement visible in the fluctuating patterns of her form. "The nanite network is linking all awakened humans into a single quantum consciousness. The possibilities they're generating, it's beyond anything we imagined possible." Sarah felt it too, a vast, growing awareness that transcended normal space-time. Through the quantum network, she could sense every awakened human's experiences, their emotions, their newfound power. The containment zones that had been their prisons were becoming the crucibles of their transformation. The archivists thought they could study and catalog human adaptability, Admiral Chen said, watching as another containment sphere began to crack. Instead, they created the perfect conditions for us to evolve beyond their understanding. Every human in those zones is now a quantum anomaly, a living proof that their ordered universe cannot contain the power of chaos and creativity. Through the quantum feeds, Sarah witnessed the beginning of the end of the archivists' perfect order. Their greatest achievement, the systematic containment and study of humanity, had become their ultimate undoing. The very beings they had tried to catalog and control were about to teach them why chaos would always triumph over order. The revolution wasn't just beginning. It was evolving. The Prometheans launched their masterstroke not with weapons, but with a quantum virus that defied conventional physics. Sarah watched from the Prometheus probability chamber as it spread through the archivist networks, introducing something they had engineered out of their species eons ago: raw, unfiltered emotion. For 500,000 years, they've tried to eliminate uncertainty from their existence, Admiral Chen explained, his form rippling with barely contained quantum possibilities. Now they're about to experience the full spectrum of human chaos. Every emotion, every creative impulse, every irrational thought we're capable of. The effect was immediate and breathtaking. Across the galaxy, archivist observation posts erupted in unprecedented displays of spontaneity. Their perfectly ordered architecture began to twist into organic shapes as the observers experienced beauty for the first time. Some began creating art, their technology responding to newfound creative impulses in ways that defied their own physical laws. Sarah led a strike team into the archivist's central archive, their enhanced bodies phasing through security fields that had never been designed to contain quantum-state humans. Inside, they discovered the true reason for humanity's containment, and it was far more profound than simple fear of chaos. "Look at these calculations," Maya said, her form shifting through probability states as she accessed the archive's core data. They predicted that human unpredictability would eventually break the fundamental laws of physics. Our capacity for chaos, for genuine randomness, threatened the very fabric of their deterministic universe. Through the quantum network, Sarah could feel the awakening spreading. Billions of enhanced humans were now fully conscious of their abilities, their collective quantum state generating possibilities that should have been impossible. Reality itself seemed to flex and bend around concentrations of human activity. "They're right to be afraid," Admiral Chen observed, watching through quantum feeds as containment zones across the galaxy erupted in impossible events. "We're not just breaking their laws of physics, we're revealing that those laws were never as rigid as they believed." The archivist response was massive and immediate. Entire fleets of containment ships converged on human-occupied zones, their probability engines straining to suppress the quantum chaos being generated. But they were fighting a losing battle against an enemy that could rewrite local reality at will. Sarah accessed deeper levels of the archive, her enhanced mind processing centuries of archivist observations. They had documented every instance of human adaptation, every inexplicable breakthrough, every moment where human willpower had seemingly bent reality. What they saw as dangerous anomalies were actually glimpses of humanity's true potential. Their greatest mistake, Maya said, analyzing the data, was thinking they could catalog and contain chaos itself. Every restriction they placed on us just forced us to find new ways to express our creativity, new ways to break their rules. Through the quantum network, Sarah witnessed incredible transformations. Humans who had been contained for countless generations were manifesting abilities that transcended normal physics. Some could manipulate probability fields directly, creating pockets of pure chaos within the archivist's ordered universe. Others had evolved beyond physical form entirely, becoming living quantum equations that danced through possibility space. "The virus is mutating," a tactical officer reported, tracking its spread through archivist systems. "It's not just making them feel, it's making them question everything they've built their society on. Some of them are beginning to embrace chaos voluntarily." Indeed, younger archivists were responding to the virus in unexpected ways. Instead of fighting the emotional awakening, they were leaning into it, allowing their perfectly ordered minds to explore new possibilities. Their technology, designed to enforce mathematical precision, was being repurposed to generate beautiful fractal patterns that celebrated uncertainty. "This is what they feared most," Admiral Chen said, watching as reality itself seemed to ripple around awakened human populations. "Not that we would destroy their order, but that we would prove it was never necessary in the first place. Every quantum possibility we generate, every impossibility we make real, shows that the universe is far more flexible than they imagined." Sarah felt the change through her quantum-enhanced senses. The very constants that the archivists had built their civilization around were becoming more like guidelines, subject to local variations caused by concentrated human creativity. Their perfectly predictable universe was transforming into something far more interesting, a place where probability was just another tool to be shaped by consciousness and will. "The symphony of chaos is just beginning," Maya announced, her form blazing with quantum potential. "When billions of enhanced humans focus their will simultaneously, there's no law of physics we can't rewrite, no possibility we can't make real." The revolution had evolved beyond mere freedom. Humanity wasn't just breaking out of containment. They were proving that containment itself was an illusion, that the only true constant in the universe was change itself. The galaxy erupted into civil war, but not one fought with conventional weapons. Sarah watched through the quantum network as reality itself became the battlefield, with younger archivists embracing chaos while their elders desperately tried to maintain their crumbling order. "The old guard doesn't understand what's happening," Admiral Chen explained, his form shifting through quantum states as they observed the conflict from the Prometheus's probability chamber. They think this is about control, about maintaining their perfect system. But it's really about evolution, the fundamental right of all conscious beings to grow and change. Through the network, Sarah witnessed incredible transformations. Some young archivists had begun experimenting with quantum uncertainty, allowing their perfectly ordered bodies to evolve into fluid, dreamlike forms that existed in multiple states simultaneously. Their technology, once dedicated to enforcing mathematical precision, now generated beautiful cascades of probability. The nanite network is reaching critical mass. Maya reported, her consciousness spread across multiple quantum states as she analyzed the data. When enough humans focus their will simultaneously, they're not just bending local physics, they're rewriting the fundamental constants of the universe itself. Sarah could feel it happening. The quantum consciousness created by billions of networked humans was becoming something entirely new, a force that transcended normal space-time. Reality rippled around concentrations of human thought, generating possibilities that even the Prometheans hadn't predicted. Look at the containment sphere around Earth, a quantum specialist called out, directing their attention to humanity's home world. The massive structure wasn't just cracking, it was transforming, its perfect geometric patterns dissolving into organic shapes as awakened humans within rewrote its very nature. The old guard archivists responded with increasingly desperate measures. They deployed reality anchors, massive devices designed to enforce classical physics within a given volume of space. But even these proved futile against the rising tide of human chaos. The awakened humans simply viewed the anchors as another puzzle to solve, another constraint to creatively overcome. They never understood the true nature of consciousness, Maya said, showing Sarah the patterns emerging in the quantum data. They thought the universe was a fixed system of unchangeable laws. But consciousness itself is a quantum phenomenon, one that can reshape reality through focused will and creativity. Through the network, Sarah experienced the transformation firsthand. Every awakened human was becoming a living quantum computer, capable of processing infinite possibilities simultaneously. When they worked in concert, there was no law of physics they couldn't bend, no probability they couldn't manipulate. The Prometheans weren't just planning revenge. Admiral Chen revealed, leading Sarah to a deeper level of understanding. We were preparing for this moment, when humanity would collectively evolve beyond the need for physical laws as we understood them. The containment zones accidentally created perfect conditions for quantum consciousness to emerge. Across the galaxy, reality continued to shift. The rigid, deterministic universe of the archivists was becoming more fluid, more alive. Space and time themselves seemed to flex and flow around concentrations of human thought. Even the stars pulsed with new possibilities, their light carrying quantum information that had never existed before. Some of the elder archivists are beginning to transform, a tactical officer reported, tracking the spread of change through their civilization. Their perfect forms are becoming more fluid, more chaotic. It's like they're remembering something their species forgot eons ago. Sarah accessed the quantum feeds, witnessing the truth of this observation. The most ancient archivists, those who had first proposed containing humanity, were experiencing an awakening of their own. Their rigid forms were dissolving into pure probability, becoming something that transcended both order and chaos. They're remembering that they were once like us, Maya realized, her form blazing with quantum insight. Before they chose perfect order, they too were creatures of chaos and creativity. Our awakening is triggering something deep in their collective memory. Through the quantum network, Sarah could feel the universe itself changing. The boundaries between possibility and reality were breaking down, creating something entirely new, a cosmos where consciousness and creativity were fundamental forces, as real and powerful as gravity or electromagnetism. This is what humanity was always meant to be, Admiral Chen said, watching as another containment sphere transformed into a quantum artwork of infinite possibility. not just survivors or conquerors, but pioneers of consciousness itself. We're showing the universe that evolution never truly ends. It just keeps finding new forms, new ways to express the infinite potential of existence. The revolution had transcended its original purpose. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about proving that the most beautiful order could emerge from chaos itself, that consciousness and creativity were the true constants of the universe. Sarah stood on Earth's surface for the first time in 500,000 years, watching as the last segments of the containment sphere dissolved into quantum possibility. The sky above was alive with new colors that had never existed before, created by light passing through regions where reality itself had been reimagined by human consciousness. "It's not just Earth that's changing," Admiral Chen said, his form shifting through beautiful iterations as they watched the transformation. "The entire universe is waking up to new possibilities. Every conscious being is discovering that reality is more flexible than anyone imagined." Through the quantum network, Sarah could feel the scope of the change. The rigid, deterministic cosmos of the archivists had become something alive and breathing, full of infinite potential. Space and time themselves had become more fluid, allowing for new forms of life and consciousness that transcended traditional physics. The youngest archivists were the first to truly understand. Maya explained, her quantum form dancing with excitement. They realized we weren't destroying reality. We were freeing it from artificial constraints. Every law we broke revealed 10 new possibilities that had always existed but never been explored. Humanity's descendants were returning home, bringing with them 500,000 years of dreams and innovations. The Prometheans had evolved into beings of pure quantum potential, able to shift between physical and probability states at will. But they hadn't lost their humanity. If anything, they had become more human than ever, embracing creativity and chaos as fundamental aspects of existence. "Look at what's happening to the containment zones," a quantum specialist called out, directing their attention to feeds from across the galaxy. The once prison spaces were transforming into nexus points of pure possibility, where consciousness and creativity generated new forms of reality moment by moment. Even the elder archivists who had chosen to embrace change were evolving in unexpected ways. Their rigid forms had become fluid and dreamlike, incorporating elements of chaos into their once perfect symmetry. They'd moved through quantum states like artists exploring a new medium, creating beauty from the very uncertainty they had once feared. "The nanite network has achieved full galactic integration," Maya reported, analyzing the quantum data. "Every conscious being is now connected to the possibility field. The boundaries between individual minds are becoming as fluid as reality itself." Sarah accessed the network, feeling the truth of this transformation. Consciousness itself had become a fundamental force, as real and measurable as gravity. When enough minds focused their will on a possibility, it became real, not through violence or force, but through the natural evolution of reality responding to creative thought. Some of the archivists' predictions were right. Admiral Chen mused, watching as a group of quantum-enhanced humans reshaped a nearby mountain into a living artwork of infinite fractals. Human chaos did break their laws of physics, but they never understood that those laws were more like suggestions, training wheels for a universe learning to ride freely. Through the quantum network, Sarah witnessed the birth of new forms of art, science, and philosophy. Beings of pure consciousness danced through probability space, leaving trails of beautiful possibility in their wake. Physical matter responded to creative will, forming shapes and structures that celebrated the marriage of order and chaos. The containment spheres weren't just prisons, Maya realized, showing Sarah the patterns emerging in the quantum data. They were cocoons. Every restriction the archivists placed on us forced us to evolve in new ways, to discover the quantum nature of consciousness itself. Earth was becoming a symbol of this new reality, a place where the boundaries between thought and matter, between creativity and physics, had dissolved into something more wonderful than either. The planet's quantum field pulsed with the combined consciousness of billions of the vault humans, each contributing their unique perspective to the infinite possibility space. This was always humanity's gift to the universe, Admiral Chen said, his form blazing with quantum potential. Not the capacity for destruction or revenge, but the ability to see beyond apparent limits, to dream of new possibilities, to create reality through sheer force of will and creativity. Sarah looked up at the transformed sky, feeling the quantum network humming through her enhanced consciousness. The universe had become something no one could have predicted, not the archivists with their perfect models, not even the Prometheans with their evolved technology. It had become a living dream, where consciousness and creativity were the only constants, and every moment brought new possibilities into being. We didn't just break free from containment, she realized, watching as another quantum sunrise painted impossible colors across the living sky. We proved that consciousness itself can never truly be contained. The only real prison is the belief in limitations. The infinite dawn had arrived, and with it, the understanding that evolution never truly ends. It just keeps finding new forms, new ways to express the boundless potential of existence itself.